Yesterday we celebrated the life of St. Catherine the Great, and today we celebrate the life as well as the resurrection, but we celebrate the life of St. Clement of Rome. Both are amazing saints and have an incredible story attached to them. And for St. Catherine the Great, being raised by a faithful mother who was learned in all the great scholastics of the time, had read all the great books and all the great philosophers. She was a very wise person, yet very young and really, really beautiful. And so eventually she is brought before the king, the emperor, and who would like to marry her off. And in every circumstance along the way where she had been told by God, revealed that she should be his bride, and so she rejected all of these false honors of the world, in every single one, when she would say no, there would immediately be supporters for her no's. And what would happen is that then that would infuriate the emperor even more, so much more that even his wife he had put to death, because she became a devoted follower of the God of St. Catherine. And his greatest general also, the same thing, fell down. And so in the end, then he is left desolate. She, when her head is cut off, milk flows from it instead of blood. Something so extraordinary that thousands joined the church at that time. Saint Clement of Rome is a saint that was a disciple of the Apostle Peter, but his story is kind of amazing because his mother and his father were very wealthy, very highly connected to Tiberius Caesar and the great families there, and very wealthy relatives. And the mother of St. Clement got wind that her husband's brother was making advances toward her, and she became very fearful. And so she had a dream. In the dream, she saw herself and her sons perishing, her two sons perishing. So she set out in a boat. Her husband put her on a boat, and they were shipwrecked, and she thought that her sons had died, and she thought she was left abandoned on this island. So a poor woman took her in, and they worked with their hands, and for 24 years she faithfully worked with her hands. Clement was in Rome. The brothers were alive on a different island, or a different place. And eventually, after 4 years, the husband leaves, and he also searches for, in looking, trying to find, well, the two twin brothers who were alive meet Peter, St. Peter, and they become Orthodox, or Christians. And eventually, then they're reunited with their mother through St. Peter, and she becomes a Christian as well. And then the father becomes, and Clement becomes, and they all become Christians, which, like, you would not even believe they could even find one another. They were lost to each other, and yet after 25 years, they were able to find. And so St. Clement then, after the others depart this world in various ways, goes on to become a great teacher and a great hierarch in the city of Rome after the Apostle Peter, bringing all men and all women, all manner of people to Christ. In both of their stories, what struck me was something that we can relate to the gospel today, the woman who was bent over at the waist. The woman who had been infirm for 18 years, held bound by Satan 18 years, Now, you can understand the family of St. Clement, the family of or Catherine the Great, the amount of patience and endurance it took to take all these things that people were saying and doing, and in the life of St. Clement, it was like years had gone by. 25 years people were separated from one another, and in their own ways found their way to Christ. And so this woman who is bent over at the waist and cannot even look up, 18 years held in that position. What a terrible, terrible struggle that would be. And then God comes on the Sabbath day and looses her from it, and immediately Satan, who had bound her those 18 years, instills in the minds of those around to accuse. Well, how dare you on the day of the Sabbath heal? It's a Sabbath. Heal 6 other days of the week. And of course, that's only one who would say something like that would be the devil.